If you haven't used any of these codes, use them now because they give stellar jades. Every time I summon for a unit, I go to Prydwen and see their opinion on that unit. Pros: phenomenal damage output in all content, use HP and HP scaling. She does have a lot of HP, but I don't know if it's more than Castress or less. Excellent damage buffs for herself and all ally member sprites. I used her in Memory of Chaos 12, Apocalyptic Shadow 4 and Pure Fiction 4, with Castress, Hyacinth and Remembrance Trailblazer. I didn't focus too much on her damage, but the team's damage definitely went up with her instead of Sunday. Provides vulnerability with her ultimate. She makes enemies take 70% more damage when her ultimate is up, so yeah. Excellent as a main DPS or as a sub DPS for Remembrance team. I haven't tried her as a main DPS yet, but as a sub DPS slash support, she works fine. Surprisingly, SB positive. Yeah, I wanna talk about this because I was worried about her skill point consumption, because Sunday can consume and generate skill points, or to be more accurate, Sunday's signature light cone can generate skill points. I thought Evernight can consume skill points from her skill, and I know that she can generate skill points from her kit. But when she released and I was using her, I found out that she doesn't consume any skill points at all, which is insane. Like, I didn't know about this. So in terms of skill point management, she is definitely better than Sunday. For Sunday, you need his signature to be able to use Castress, Hyacinth, Remembrance Trailblazer and Sunday on the same team. And even with that team, you can have skill point issues early on if you don't manage your skill points correctly and your actions, and of course it depends on your rotation at the start of the fight. I'm talking about E0, S1, Sunday and Evernight. With Evernight, I can use Remembrance Trailblazer's skill once every 3 turns, which is nice because I'm using the 5-star Herta Sub Remembrance Light Cone, which gives the entire team 16% damage bonus every time the wearer uses a skill. One of the best teams was Evernight, if not the best. One includes Castress, Hyacinth, and Remembrance Trailblazer, or I guess Trippy. Hyacinth consumes a lot of skill points and she is fast, so if you have her on the team and you want to use her optimally, she will consume a lot of skill points and you will have a skill point issue. Great performance floor. I don't know what it exactly means. Very impressive scalability. I presume they are talking about the multipliers numbers in her kit. I didn't look at them. Rewarding Mastery Curve. I presume they are talking about the stats that she requires. And the final pros is Umbrella. Massive aura gains. I guess it adds to her charm. As for the cons of her poor free-to-play light cone options, I feel like that can be said about every single Remembrance unit. Hyacinth's light cone. The amount of times I heard that people regret skipping Hyacinth's light cone. A lot of units, either old or new units, will benefit from Hyacinth's signature light cone. I'm not sure if that's true, but I heard that in 4.x another new pass will get added. And if that's the case, I'm afraid like the same case with poor free-to-play light cones will happen again. Can be challenging to play to her fullest. I guess this is tied to her rewarding mastery curve in her pros. Some people I heard say that 134 speed. You want that on her. But like I said, I have her at 107 and my rotation works fine. Buffs are almost exclusively for member sprites. Yeah, in terms of support, she is not a general one. She will probably be the best support unit for future remembrance units. Fails a selfie, massive aura loss. I think they're talking about one of her idle animations in which she tries to mimic March 7. Evernight is an exceptional remembrance DPS character. Scaling her damage of HP, she follows a similar balanced playstyle to Castress, summoning a member sprite to have it nuke the field and make a dramatic exit. Evernight has a plethora of team buffs and self buffs from member sprite based damage dealers, making her a fantastic DPS to use in a dual DPS setup with existing and future remembrance characters, and an extraordinary competitive slow-low DPS to boot, all while being SP positive, extremely SP positive by the way. The price for this power is that Evernight is highly challenging to play compared to existing characters. I can see that. The edgier March 7 Evernight has at last graced us with her presence, hopefully to answer a few lingering questions we have. If I had a nickel for every time Remembrance DPS sent their member sprite to gloriously explode, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. I agree. Evernight is designed to in a similar vein to Anaxa, meant to supplement an existing DPS character, while still being viable on their own 2 feet. About Anaxa, I heard that he was supposed to be a sub DPS for Herta, but he turned out to be one of the best DPSs in the game. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Evernight's intended partner, at least right now, is Castress, and she makes that team incredibly powerful. Not that it needed the help. The question then is, does Evernight follow in Anaxa's footsteps fully? And the answer to that is a bit complicated, but essentially yes. I'll get to it later. Evernight is so damn strong, but she is really quite challenging to play to her fullest. You really need to know what she is about, so that you can adjust and adapt as combat goes on. Evernight's performance floor is already very high, so you don't need to worry about her losing a lot of strength if you mess up. But her performance ceiling is, honestly, rather frightening. I presume they're talking about her as a main DPS. Well, there's not much else to say really, despite the absolute wall of text that each and every single ability in Evernight's kit has. The kit itself is not too difficult to understand in practice. Bit of fiddling around in game and you should be able to intuit most of what's going on, because the kit is like this, and as mentioned earlier, the performance floor is already very high. There's not really many ways for you to completely screw yourself over, unless you're literally only using her basic attack and never using ultimate. But seeking to get the maximum output from Evernight is where the true challenge lies, and this is particularly difficult because a fair bit of it isn't really directly up to you. He gets advanced whenever Evernight reaches or passes 16 Memoria, and this can end up happening during enemy actions, since losing XP will grant Memoria. Ally member sprites actions may push you just over the Memoria threshold, and now you're also out of alignment. Perhaps even just before Evernight's turn. You may even deliberately opt not to resummon Eevee on your turn and to try to get more Memoria stacked, or to delay the burst to a better moment, or even to prolong the Darkest Riddle state on Evernight. There are very many possibilities. For me, if she has enough Memoria and I can use her ultimate or skill, I use it right away. No questions asked. It's big brain time. As such, there are quite few ways that you can miss out on optimal damage because of these idiosyncrasies. Even just the constantly fluctuating DPS speed boost that Evernight gets after Eevee explodes is far too unpredictable to consistently play around. Personally, I didn't have any issues regarding her speed buffs from Eevee's explosion. This is why I alluded to intuition. It really is up to the player to circumvent or play around these unique circumstances and when they come up, and this is maybe not so difficult once you are comfortable with the character, but can most assuredly be a source of frustration until you are. Even still, getting some of the way into the challenging spectrum sees Evernight returning damage numbers that are frankly disgusting. And with little effort too, she is much like a good knife. If you keep the edge honed and sharpened, it will never fail you when you need it most. I didn't try her as a main DPS, so I don't know if all of this is true or not. Pseudo profound statements aside, let's talk teams, or rather team. Parentheses, singular, yeah. As a HP based remembrance character, it's entirely unsurprising that the number one teammate is Hyacinth. Yeah, I know, please everyone act surprised. Hyacinth's prowess at buffing max HP and healing effortlessly pair really well with Evernight's kit, especially since it's so easy to set up. This is of course without even mentioning Little Aika, or as people call it, Fat, the member sprite who most certainly can and will destroy the foes in front of you by consuming them, with Evernight gaining benefits from having other remembrance characters, as well as the benefits that she can share with other member sprites. It's a match made in heaven, and it's undoubtedly the best option, especially if you have Hyacinth's Light Cone. The Remembrance Trailblazer also does not get any rest days, and is the next on the list of immaculate supports for Evernight, as an HP-based Remembrance. Hey, wait a second. Yeah, it's not. Even though I like for Remembrance Trailblazer, I focus on HP over attack because I don't see Remembrance Trailblazer as a DPS, so I focus on his HP because it helps casters. Nobody should be surprised. Please don't act surprised. Everyone and their moms knows that Remembrance Trailblazer does and why it's good. Only it's even better for Evernight because of her absurd max energy. Meaning she gets the full whopping 50% true damage bonus from the Mims support buff, and boy does she take it all the way to the bank. Not to mention the insane battery effect that Evernight has for Mims ult gig due to the constant energy gains. I didn't think about that. Every time an ally's Mim sprite acts, she gets energy, and that probably increases Mim's energy bar. And about Evernight's absurd max energy, her signature light cone helps with that. That's why I went for it. And thankfully I don't have any issues regarding her energy regen. I have her ultimate almost, if not always, 100% the entire time. Even more amusing is that you can use Mim's support to advance Evernight ahead of Eevee during the Dark Stellar state, letting you get an extra 14 Memoria skill use off before Eevee explodes. This lets you stack Memoria up higher and also get more Memoria total than you would otherwise be able to, since Darkest Riddle charges are only consumed by Eevee exploding. And there you go, just with these two, you have also fulfilled the criteria for Evernight's A6 to reach its big breakpoint, granting every member sprite a further 50% crit damage, making Little Aika hit harder and the main buff even more. Yeah, I have to say, like, Aika deals a lot more damage with Evernight on the team, like way more damage. I would say he sometimes deal as much damage as Castor's enhanced skill or even more, I think. To address the Nethering in the room, you may have noticed that this seems an awful lot like Castor's team, in which case I must applaud you for your keen skills of discernment. Yes, indeed, the Hyacinth plus Remembrance Trailblazer combo is notoriously potent on a number of teams, but it has been especially powerful for Castor's, and now for Evernight as well. With the direction that Evernight's kit has, it's very easy to come to the conclusion that Evernight was designed to be paired with Castor's. I can see that because C is the same as Castor's, except Evernight might want speed depending on your rotation and your playstyle, but Castor's, if you're using the best 4-piece relic set on Castor's, you don't want speed on her. A somewhat shallow analysis is not entirely long. Castor's benefits immensely from what Evernight can offer her, boasting not only extreme personal damage output, but the ability to buff the other member sprites that enjoy blowing itself to smithereens, and take it to even more absurd heights. The two of them together in one team is absolutely frightening, and they play off each other magnificently, especially since now there's potentially 4 member sprites in total, meaning Castor's has 8 targets she can siphon its B from to charge her ultimate. Well, not necessarily, because Eevee, as soon as Eevee is up and there are 16 Memorias, Eevee will explode, will act immediately and will explode. And with Castor's team, with this, like the full Remembrance team, I feel like, for me at least, in my case, Evernight gets 16 Memoria and Eevee explodes as soon as it is summoned. It explodes right afterwards. So, like for 90% of the battle, Eevee is dead. So not only is Nethering much stronger, but can come back so quickly that the dust from their previous dramatic exit hasn't settled yet. Using Evernight in this team lets you free up either the Remembrance Trailblazer or Trippy to be used on other teams, given that these two are absolute most contested supports of the game right now by a colossal margin. This is already absolutely invaluable because it is on top all of the other benefits. Yeah, you can use Trippy on like you hurt a team or whatever team. Now we boomerang back to the questions posed at the start. Is she like Anaxa in other way, referencing the fact that Anaxa is oftentimes stronger than the DPS he was designed to supplement? I think they're talking about Herta, or sorry, the Herta. Evernight is so strong on her own that if you take Castor's current best team and put Evernight in place of Castor's, we'll be achieving a very similar performance. I didn't know that. If you then are capable of overcoming the challenges that Evernight throws your way in combat, you can possibly even exceed that performance, getting close to what you will see by having both Castor's and Evernight together. This is to say that if you have Castor's already, Evernight is a great upgrade to the team, but that Evernight most assuredly does not need Castor's to be at her best, and the vertical investment options presented with Evernight genuinely left me speechless the first time I looked at them. Evernight is truly something else. I think Evernight's E1 makes the team deal more damage against few number of enemies. Of course, this is quite literally the only team you have got right now, at least as far as optimal setups go, as there are no substitutes that come close to what Hyacinth, Trippy, and Remembrance Trailblazer can offer you. Perhaps this will change with Cyrene, but at least for now, your options outside of that are more limited. Naturally, there are similar units that can get most of the way there if you're in the bins. The other 2/3 of the Quantum super supports, Cypher and Silverwolf, are also going to be good. For all myriad reasons, so these two are good everywhere else. It just works. I didn't focus too much on Cypher or the buffs on Silverwolf. I think I heard that the buff, the E2 Silverwolf, benefits Acheron a lot. And as for Cyrene, it's funny that they mentioned her because I won't say anything because they are leaks. Prydwen May is in much the same boat, but can be potentially useful substitute, especially in places like Apocalyptic Shadow, where toughness damage is king, and Evernight already does more than a bit of that by default. So buffing it further, plus all type penetration, makes for a good show as well. I tried to use Prydwen May instead of Sunday in Castor's. I think before I even got Hyacinth, Sunday is better than her if you use him optimally. because using Sunday is difficult. With the casters, I mean. Other stranger things can work too, especially since Evernight is actually skill point positive, which I'm still reeling over, by the way. Yeah, likewise. I was surprised like on how skill point positive she is, but try not to go too crazy, since Evernight still wants a minimum number of remembrance characters on the team to make as much of her A6 as possible. If a character hasn't been mentioned up until now, that's probably for a reason. So turbo free to plays can still use Gallagher because he's a goat, and that's a fact. Yeah, Gallagher, man. I think I didn't build him until Castros arrived, and I always heard people talk good about him. I didn't understand why, but after I built him for Castros and used him, I understand why. Lastly, she is a limited remembrance character, and that means that her signature light cone is quite significantly ahead of alternatives. This is just how it is. There are very few variations that exist, and pretty much all of them are considerably inferior to Evernight's signature. Yeah, her signature makes her get more energy, which definitely helps in making her get her ultimate faster. Except that due to Evernight's current strengths, as well as the extremely high likelihood that she will continue to be useful for the HP Bombers archetype moving forward, it wouldn't be a short-sighted thing to seek to acquire said light cone. So there you have it. If you have made it this far, you know how impressed I am by Evernight, and all the good reasons for it too. Her overall options may be a fair bit more limited than other DPS characters, but her kit is so good that it doesn't matter. And if in future there are more characters that work with her, she will be able to make it shine no matter what. I must stress again, so that it's abundantly clear. Evernight can be tricky to pilot. Don't let this discourage you. She is well deserving of the praise and accolades. And after all, she is best girl. Let's not forget that. Oh yeah, March 7. As a damage dealer, Memory of Chaos tier 0, Purification tier 0, Apocalyptic Shadow tier 1. I don't know why Apocalyptic Shadow is tier 1 and Memory of Chaos is tier 0. Apogems are talking about E0 S0, not E0 S1. As a support DPS, Memory of Chaos is tier 0, Purification tier 0, Apocalyptic Shadow tier 0.5. I can't say anything about her rating as a damage dealer because, like I said, I never tried it. I might try it in the future. As a support DPS, well, she works better than Sunday, and that's enough for me. I don't get why she has a lower ranking in Apocalyptic Shadow than Memory of Chaos. Maybe it's because Apocalyptic Shadow focuses more on single target damage. As for Memory of Chaos, it focuses on either single target damage or 3 targets damage. I agree with everything that was said about her, except for the information regarding her as a main DPS, because like I said, I never tried her as a main DPS. And about her being challenging, I presume they're talking about her best stats and her best rotation. This is a final damage multiplier. This is a big thing, so I guess her E1 is good. I can't even think about getting it because if you haven't watched my Evernight summons, I spent 308 summons just to get her E0 S1. As for build and the teams, her signature is the best light cone. Makes sense. Then make farewell Castor's light cone, yeah. Then Battle Pass light cone. I think this is Battle Pass light cone as well. I am not too sure. Body crit damage, feet, HP over speed. Planisphere ice damage equal HP. And Link Rope HP above energy region. Also, about the sphere, about which main stat is better ice damage or HP percentage, I feel like it depends on your team, because if you have casters and if you use Evernight with casters, HP is better because HP will benefit both casters when she uses her skill and consumes HP of your allies to get more new bots, and it will benefit Evernight because more HP means more damage. As for ice damage bonus, it will only benefit Evernight, but it will do nothing for casters. So if you have casters on the team, you should focus on HP. I didn't think of that when I was building Evernight, because I have ice damage orb on her. I might switch to an HP orb, depending on your substats, because it all comes down to the RNG of the relics and the substats. Substats crit rate until cap, which is 65, crit damage as high as possible, then HP, then speed. Recommended endgame status 7,000 to 8,000. I think I have her at 6,900 something. Crit rate 65 before Evernight passive. Yeah, I do have her as a crit damage 160 to 180 before trace buff. I do have her at 229, I think. speed 99 plus. I do have at 107. Evernight can generate skill points from her kit, which is insane by the way, that she can't consume skill points and she generates it from her skill, not from her Litecoin like Sunday. Synergy, Castros, yeah, makes sense. Hyacinth makes sense. Trailblazer, Remembrance makes sense. Some people said Trippy instead of Trailblazer makes the whole team deal more damage. And that's everything about Evernight. So tell me, what do you think about Prydwen's opinions about her? Tell me in the comments if you would like to see more videos like this. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.